Ara Abrahamian goes over to Sweden to become a Greco-Roman wrestler. He's got a goal in his mind. He's going to get gold, right?
Ara Abrahamian, however he says his name, the Swedish wrestler.
He got silver last time around, in the last Olympics. Yeah, so he's all worked up over this thing, right? He's been brewing over it for 4 years.
And I do believe in 2004 he had to settle for the silver medal.
He gets there, and there's apparently some controversy with the Swiss ref. And he blows a call in Ara's mind.
And the coach's mind.
Yeah, and the coach. They all go ballistic. They have to restrain Ara from attacking the refs.
He's a wrestler. These guys are not small.
Finally, he gets the bronze, right? And
he loses that semifinal match and then I guess wins the match for third place.
Right, he wasn't even going to do the match for third place. And everybody begged him. They're like, look, you came this far and it's for your country. You've got to do it. So he's like, get on it. And he goes on there. He's like, oh, yeah, bam, I pinned him.
Because they were like, for your country. And he's like, yeah, okay.
Right.
For Sweden.
For Sweden.
2 Olympics in a row, it's happening to the person who ultimately did win the gold. I'm trying to figure this story out, but judging by what I saw, as far as what happened in 2008, I didn't see what happened in 2004, mind you.
Anyway, he gets to the ceremony where they give him the medal. He takes the medal. I was like, oh, thanks, I appreciate it. Takes the medal, throws it on the wrestling mat, and walks off. And now, normally you would say, okay, that's a bit much, right? This guy's going crazy. But I actually like this guy. Why?
In wrestling, the Olympics is the ultimate goal any elite athlete aspires toward. With no organized professional leagues to sign with, the highest level of achievement one can reach is winning gold for your country against the best in the world. With the Olympic Games only every 4 years though, an individual typically has a very small window of opportunity to accomplish this goal before aging out of their prime. Winning Olympic gold is amazing not only for the feat of athleticism it takes to do so, but the long-term planning and meticulous timing required of it. So imagine being on the cusp of actually fulfilling this lifetime plan, not once, but twice, only to have it stolen from you both times. This is exactly what happened to Ara Abrahamian of Sweden when he competed in the 2004 and 2008 Olympics. In this video, we'll detail exactly what happened to Ara and how this story shows the dark side of the Olympics, ran by politics and possibly the Russian mafia, which led to Ara protesting the Olympics and receiving a lifetime ban from the Games. Before we start, make sure to hit subscribe. Ara Abrahamian was originally from Armenia, but joined the Sweden national team in 1998. By 2000, he represents Sweden at the 2000 Olympics in Sydney, Australia, where he wrestled Greco-Roman in the 76-kilogram weight class. Ara would fail to medal at this Olympics, but improved upon his performance dramatically the following year at the 2001 World Championships in Patras, Greece. Ara would beat Russian Alex Mission in the finals to win gold and become a Greco world champion. He would repeat this performance again the next year, winning gold in Moscow, Russia. In 2003 in Créteil, France, he made the finals for the 3rd year in a row, but would fall in that match to take silver. The following year would now be the 2004 Olympics in Athens, Greece, and would be Ara's opportunity to finally achieve his highest goal, winning an Olympic gold medal. With this being the last goal in wrestling he hadn't accomplished yet, once he had won, Ara planned for that year's Olympics to mark the end of his career, and he would promptly retire from the sport. Come competition, Ara would work through his bracket and for the 4th year in a row be in the World Finals, this time on the Olympic stage. In the finals, Ara would once again be facing the Russian Alex Mission. Their finals match would be tightly contested, with the only point in regulation coming from a clinch position where 2 wrestlers clasp their hands around the opponent and the person who doesn't break their grip first is awarded a point. When a moment of action came and they both broke their grip, the ref would look to the judges for the call on who broke their grip first, and it would be ruled Ara had, giving Mission 1 point. The wrestlers would again be started in a clinch position at the 6-minute mark of the match, and this time Ara would be awarded 1 point when Mission's grip would break. However, this would be the last point scored in the match, and when it ended 1-1, it would go to the judge's decision. The wrestlers would await the decision, and it would be ruled that Russia's Alex Mission was the winner. This would be met with outcry from the crowd, as it was confusing how this final judgment was even made, and far too often had they seen calls like this go to Russia. There's even witness accounts accounts of the leader of the Russian Wrestling Federation, Mikhail Mamiashvili, giving hand signals to the referee during the match. Pelle Svensson, who at the time was a board member of FILA, which today is known as United World Wrestling, would later come out to speak on what he witnessed during that Olympic finals. According to Svensson, while the match was happening, he was sitting with the Greek royal couple, explaining rules and tending to any questions they may have. The king would then point out Mamiashvili, asking his significance. Svensson would explain he was the leader of the Russian Wrestling Federation, and the king would state that Mamiashvili acted as if he was a judge, constantly making signals to the referee. Pelle would leave the couple to go down Matt's side to where Mamiashvili was. Svensson recounted that he attempted to grab Mamiashvili to stop him from continuing to signal to the referee, when Mamiashvili would break away from him and say, "You should know that this could be your death." Svensson would also state that he had proof the referee was bribed by Mamiashvili, as an anonymous source who was a coach had witnessed the bribery take place. It said the ref had been paid a dollar range in the millions. To understand why the leader of the Russian Wrestling Federation would do this requires a closer look at Mamiashvili's background. Mikhail Mamiashvili was a 4-time world and Olympic champion for the Soviet Union in the 80s. By the 90s, he would retire from competition and begin working his way up the ranks of both the Russian Wrestling Federation and United World Wrestling ranks as both a coach and board member. It was during this time he would meet Atari Kvanchashvili, one of the most notorious gangsters in Russia during the 1980s and 90s. Kvanchashvili himself was a world champion wrestler at one point, but would delve into the world of organized crime later in life after being released from prison. He became a wrestling trainer, and this is where he would recruit athletes for his criminal syndicate. According to reports by Crime Russia, Kvanchashvili would entice Mamiashvili to join his criminal underground, with Mamiashvili and other athletes often playing the role of security for the operations of his organization. Mamiashvili would become a protege of Kvanchashvili's, growing his own power and influence in Russia, until Kvanchashvili was assassinated in 1994. After this, Mamiashvili would use these resources to gain control of the wrestling hierarchy in Russia and never let it go. By 2001, he was the president of the Russian Wrestling Federation, a position he still holds today, despite countless controversies since being at the helm. So clearly, someone with the influence and connections like Mikhail Mamiashvili very well could have bribed and corrupted Olympic officials, and more than likely was the case with Ara Abrahamian's match against Russia. Ara would accept this loss, however, taking silver. With his plan to retire and top now foiled, Ara would make the decision to give it one more shot, setting his sights solely on the 2008 Olympics in Beijing. Over the next 4 years, the only medal Ara would win before the Olympics was a bronze medal at the 2008 European Games, but come time would once again be the representative for Sweden at 84 kilograms and Greco-Roman for the Olympics. This was Ara's chance to finally realize his dream of Olympic gold. Ara would reach the semifinals of his bracket, and he would be pit against Andrea Menguzzi of Italy. Nearing the end of the match, Ara would lead 1-0, and just had to avoid being turned to pull off the win. In the closing seconds, Ara would successfully not be turned and awarded 1 point. However, after some discussion between the referee and the judges panel, this would be reversed, awarding Menguzzi the point on the basis that Ara's hand had went out of bounds into the blue in the last sequence and must be penalized. This would not normally be penalized, and in multiple occurrences earlier in the match, Menguzzi had far more of his body out of bounds, but was never penalized. With this penalty point, Menguzzi was declared the winner. The Swedish coaching staff would demand a video review of the call, but the judges panel refused, and United World Wrestling, again known as FILA at the time, would refuse an official protest after the match as well. Ara would have to be restrained from attacking the judges panel after this call was made, and the judges panel could be seen visibly laughing at Ara's outrage in front of him. The situation would become even more scandalous when it was later revealed that one of the judges was from Italy, and the vice president of United World Wrestling at the time was the president of Italy's national team, who was looking for their first Olympic champion in over 20 years. The theory goes that the referee and judges were bribed by associates of Italy to fix the match, and this is further strengthened when revealed that the referee of the match was first cousins with the president of United World Wrestling at the time, giving reason to protect the referee from accusations of bribery. Italy's Menguzzi would go on to win gold in the finals. A victim of Olympic Games corruption twice now, Ara Abrahamian was fed up with the International Olympic Committee and knew he only had one last chance to let his feelings be known. Ara would go on to earn bronze, requiring him to take part in the Olympic medal ceremony. After receiving his medal, Ara would shake the hand of the presenter, dap up the fellow bronze medal recipient, and calmly walk off the podium to the center of the mat. There he would take off his medal, discard it on the mat, and with a wave, walk out of the ceremony in protest. Ara had taken a stand against the corruption that plagued his sport and had robbed him of his dreams. But the IOC would not take this act of protest lightly. By violating the Olympic spirit of the awards ceremony, Ara was disqualified from that year's Olympic Games and stripped of his medal. Ara would refuse to apologize to the IOC for this incident, so he would receive a lifetime ban from the Olympics, making him the only Olympic athlete to receive a lifetime ban not for doping. United World Wrestling would ban Abrahamian from all competition for 2 years as well, but Ara would take them to court, and in the Court of Arbitration for Sport, they would overturn United World Wrestling's ban, confirming that Ara had been wronged by officials in the 2008 match, and that an official appeal of the match decision should have been allowed. Ara would return to competition, but would never have another shot at his final objective of Olympic gold. Ara Abrahamian would be revered for his act of protest, as it shined a bright light on the dark occurrences that had been taking place in wrestling and the Olympics behind the scenes for years. And ultimately, his fight helped others avoid the same thing happening to them. In the end, however, Ara's story is one of tragedy, showing that even after 8 years of dedication and sacrifice, your dreams can be swept from under you by factors out of your control. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that story, be sure to like this video and hit subscribe for more content like this.